You are listening to Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. I am your host, Chanel Scott. I'm a psychic medium and energy healer who has been supporting those on a spiritual journey for over a decade. I'm your tour guide into the world of the unknown, showing you that the magic of the universe is at your fingertips. I believe spirituality is simple and fun, and this podcast will make it easily accessible, giving you the real talk on all things divine and spiritual, helping you to step into the flow. Manifesting your dreams because we all deserve to be living our best life. Are you ready for an adventure? Hello, sunshines, and welcome to Directions from your Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. My name is Chanel Scott, and I am your host and your spiritual tour guide. Today's topic is clearing. I had the pleasure of teaching a Reiki 1 certification this weekend to some lovely human beings. And the question came up about clearing. And it's a question that comes up from people a lot. So I thought, perfect opportunity. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about clearing. So let's talk about kind of different levels of clearing. Clearing our own personal energy. We can clear our space that we live in. We can clear space that we work in. Clearing can be done in a lot of different ways and in a lot of different purposes, depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. We were talking about clearing space to do a Reiki treatment in the context of the Reiki certification. Somebody said, what is the best way to set up your space? And they were also talking about like setting our own energy to be able to do a Reiki treatment. And so that brought up the clearing aspect again. So let's kind of dive one step at a time into the clearing thing. And again, I'm all about the real talk here. I am about keeping spirituality simple. I really, truly believe that there is huge simplicity in our spirituality. And there is a time and a place for ritual and ceremony and those sort of things. But sometimes there isn't time for that, and that's okay. And it can be just as powerful in what we do if we still hold that same intention. I was a single mom of 3 kids for a very long time, and little kids. When my ex walked out, my kids were all under the age of 10, and my littlest was 4. So it was definitely challenging to fit anything into my day. As well, I had unconventional jobs, so I worked kind of crazy hours that were all over the place. Not that I'm complaining. I loved it. I taught dance. I taught yoga. I managed a yoga studio. So my hours were kind of unusual as well. So for me as a mom, which was my first priority, I had to be creative and I had to keep things really simple. But the more that I did that, the more I understood that there is huge simplicity in spirituality. So that's why I bring it up. I bring it up because it's so easy for us to get lost in well, I can't do it properly, so I'm not going to do it. And the truth of the matter is it only takes a moment. So just do the work that needs to get done. When it comes to clearing ourselves, it can be as simple as taking a big deep breath and letting that exhale be that release of anything that we no longer need. That release of whatever stresses and worries that are weighing on our shoulders. Thinking of it as breathing in deep, the divine, and exhaling everything outside of us that no longer needs to be there anymore. It really can be that simple. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. It can be that exact. Now, of course, there are bigger and better ways to also clear yourself if you have more time or you have the different things to do it with. I love the breath as a way of clearing and connecting. It's how I finish my yoga classes, taking a big cleansing breath all together at the end of class, taking that deep inhale and that beautiful all together to let it all go, letting go of that last bit of stress, feeling the shoulders just drop, feeling the whole body just sigh and be in that beautiful place where you feel connected and released and relaxed, and it's so beautiful. So breath, always have it. It's a really simple way to do a clearing for yourself. Just taking those big deep breaths, releasing it all, letting it go. You could carry crystals or wear crystals as jewelry for clearing. That's another really easy way to clear space. Maybe you wear something that's protective to protect your energy, like labradorite. I love it. I have a big honkin' like cocktail ring that I wear when I do readings and stuff, definitely when I'm out and about. And it's that protective stone. It helps to keep our energies clean and clear. You can use stones that are specifically for cleansing your energy as well. That you can, again, wear them as jewelry or just carry them. I know so many people that stick them in their bra or, just throw them in their pocket. So crystals are another way. Essential oils are another way. Diffusing essential oils, wearing them as perfume. Again, they can help to clear your energy. Smelling them if you have... There's bracelets with the diffuser beads that are like a lava rock that you can put it on. I have a beautiful diffuser necklace from Sage, and it's like a kind of like a crystal, like a ball that opens up like a little cage, and you can put a little piece of paper or cotton or whatever with essential oil on it, and so you have that to smell. One of my favorite ways to cleanse my energy is actually incense. I am not a Palo Santo girl. I am not a sage girl. I don't like the smell of it. It may have something to do with the fact that I'm allergic to trees and grass, but those are not my favorite. So I love using incense. I love nagchapa. It's one of my favorites. I light it. I use a feather to dust it over me, letting the smoke cleanse me. Sometimes I just put it in my space near me and don't actually do that, kind of dry bathing kind of action with it, but it works just the same to kind of clean and cleanse your energy. Now, you can also sage, like I said, or Palo Santo is a sacred wood. You can use that as well. That works really well. I don't love sage, so I actually have a smudging spray. So it's got sage into it. It's called Sacred Space, and I use that for cleansing my space. I created it out of necessity because like I said, I do not like burning sage. I don't like the smell of it. So I came up with a different plan. And again, it simplifies it because and I'm done versus lighting it and having to, smudge the space, open a window, blah, blah, blah. Now, again, when we're clearing ourselves, it's great to do it in a space that's outdoors because that allows that energy to be dispersed back into the universe, back into nature. You can do it inside. That's not a problem. It is... It's just more ideal if you do it outdoors. But you can do indoors and maybe open a window or a door to let that energy out. But it's always good to release that energy back into the universe. So the other one that works really well and I really love is just taking a shower or a bath. Shower is more ideal because that water washes over you and cleanses away the body and the soul, clearing away any of that negative energy. So the big thing in all of these, regardless of what you choose, is about holding that intention. That is really the magic there. When we hold that mindset and that intention that this is what we're doing, it will do the work for us. So if you are really caught in a time or a place where, taking a big sighing breath maybe doesn't work for you or any of those other things, you could just close your eyes for a half a second and just set the intention to really clear your energy. And it works. That absolutely works too. It is about holding the intention and holding the mindset and trusting that it is working, trusting that it is coming true. It is that mindset work. It is that holding space, that holding intention that makes things work. We can smudge all we want, but if we don't think that it's working, it's not going to work. Right? So holding that intention is just as important. You can imagine a shower of water, a waterfall washing over you, and it not actually being happening, but you can imagine that to wash away that negative energy. You could imagine having a crystal or even stepping inside of a crystal, even though you don't physically have that crystal present. If you just hold the intention of that energy and hold the intention that it is going to work, it will work. It is that simple. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates. So when we connect ourselves to that energy and to that vibration, we're bringing ourselves to it. When we are believing and trusting, it will take us to that vibrational place where the negativity all falls away, where the heaviness falls away. So intention. So now let's keep going and talk about our spaces. When I work, I like to have my space in a certain frequency. I like this vibrational tone that allows me to stay very deeply connected. So I take the time to kind of meditate in my space to create that. Now, I had talked about in the course that I taught as well about programming a crystal or an object to help you create a certain energy in a space. When I used to rent space, I had a healing room 1 day a week in a yoga center. And when I did that, the very first thing I did when I came into this space is I would take out a crystal ball that I had programmed to clear the energy of the space and to create that vibrational energy that I wanted to work in. So it became my energetic space. It washed away those that were in it before. It washed away the energy of clients. It washed away the energies of those that cleaned the space, used the space, all of those things. And it really created a space that became my vibrational space. I knew that it was a space that was protected. It felt sacred. It felt relaxed and comfortable. It felt warm and welcoming. And that was really important. So I would create that. So you take your object, crystals work really great, and you hold it and you meditate and you really hold the intention for what it is that you want. And when you do that, you create this kind of vibrational, almost kind of cellular kind of feeling into the object or crystal, and you can keep on using it until you feel like it's not working anymore, and then you just have to program it again. So it automatically did that clearing without me having to do anything because it was programmed to do so. You can use Reiki for clearing space or even your personal self. I love crystals for clearing space in general. Again, you don't have to physically have that crystal. You can use the vibration of it, use the energy of it. I still remember my old house when I lived in Woodstock. My healer said to me, "You need a giant piece of selenite." And I said, "Oh, should I go get some?" And she's like, no. Like, you need to just energetically bury a giant piece of selenite beneath your house. Like, that's what's needed to keep your house cleansed and cleared and to keep that protective energy around it. My house was on an old army base. The area that I was in, the houses all looked a lot the same. And they were wartime kind of houses that were used on a army base that actually trained motorcycles through the military. So it didn't feel like bad energy, but definitely it was just an energy that I really wanted to hold in my own home to create, again, that sense of feeling of security and safety, protection. Again, that warm and welcoming feeling as well. Another way, again, like your personal self, you could smudge using sage or incense or Palo Santo. Burning that in your space will help to cleanse and clear. So again, you kind of want to start at the farthest point. You move around windows and doors, and then you take it out. So you want to walk it out a window or a door. Of course, we're not going to walk out a window. We're going to hold it out a window. But we're, again, taking that energy. We're taking that smoke is clearing it all out, and we're moving it out the door to clear that energy and to clear that space. And it's important to remember, if you are clearing just an office, that you don't want to just release that energy into the rest of the building, but you want to be respectful of that energy. And if you're clearing, take it right outside. So if it means opening a window instead of a door to release that energy, or opening the door to your office and then also opening the door and ushering that energy all the way out. So setting up a crystal grid is a great idea. I had a friend that worked in a jail. They worked in an office within the jail, and we set up crystals around the office in the corners to help create an energetic, better space because it felt uncomfortable to them. So you can do that as well. A lot of people love the selenite lamps or crystal salt lamps. Those help to ionize the air and to clean and clear. Simply setting in the space too and setting intention, taking time to meditate and do a cleansing, do a clearing will help to clear that space as well. You can set a prayer. I have carnelian at my front door. But I also will pray in my space to cleanse and clear it as well. It is a beautiful way to kind of just create, again, this energy of the home that you want to create, or the office, or the, environment. Even when I taught yoga, I would step into the space and just take that moment to kind of clear the energy of that room to make sure that I was creating a space that was sacred for my students to enter. When it comes to clearing spaces, again, a lot of it has to do with that intention and that mindset. Again, it is really important to hold that intention that the energy is being cleansed and cleared. Same thing as I said before, if you are doing a clearing and you're not believing that it's going to happen, believing that it's going to work, it's not going to work. So it's important to hold that mindset, to hold that energy, to really do it in a commanding way. If you are smudging and clearing the space because something negative happened, or you feel like there's an entity, then it's really important to be commanding about smudging and releasing, clearing your space, really setting that intention, speaking it out loud, doing what you need to do to create that clearing. When it comes to clearing spaces, again, I just want to bring up that piece of being respectful of others. So we are not pushing our energy onto other people, especially when we're clearing, that we're being mindful to be respectful of other people and their own space and their own energetics. So, for example, if you worked in an office and there was someone that you didn't like their energy, we're not clearing their energy for them because that's not ethical or respectful. We can set boundaries around our own energy and our own spaces, but we are not invading other people's spaces. I don't clear my children's rooms because it's not my place to. It is their energy and their space. I will clear my entire house and ask that any spaces that, are occupied by others be cleared if they so choose to, allowing my children's higher selves to do the work. Not as much when they were little because it was my responsibility more, but now that they're grown, I try not to invade onto that space. I will set intentions around their door frames, creating, an energetic wash as they come into my space, but I am very mindful of their space. Same thing. I don't clear my husband's energy without his permission because it's not okay to do that. So I just want to bring that up because ethics is also very important. It is really important to be respectful of other people and their energies and their belief systems. It's okay that other people carry the negativity if that's what they choose to do. You can offer to help them, but it is not okay to just help them without their permission. So that is where, again, the clearing and energetics comes in for ourselves. So just to take it a little step further, we can create kind of like an energy bubble around ourselves. We can imagine ourselves in this little bubble of protection that helps to keep the energies of people that we don't want out. For example, I used to work in an office that I was a receptionist, and there was 4 of us. We did all the data processing, we did typing, we did filing, we did, customer service, the whole 9 yards. And it was funny because my desk happened to be the desk that everybody kind of congregated at, because it was like the front desk and it was on the side that, was easily accessible, yada, yada. And for me, I'm very energetically sensitive, and sometimes it was about the conversations that people were having that I didn't want to be a part of. If people were being really negative, I didn't like that. So I tried something, and I kind of put like an energetic bubble around my desk, because we had like little cubbies. Or cubicles, I should call it. So I set this energetic boundary around my desk. And I noticed that when people wanted to have conversations that were negative or gossipy or just not my jam, they stopped standing at my desk and started standing at other people's desks or on the opposite side of the room kind of thing. And it was really interesting that I kind of set that intention that this is my space, and I want, I need to get my work done, and I want to keep it really clean and clear. And so it suddenly started to shift these conversations. It was really interesting. And it wasn't necessarily the people per se, but it was the conversations that were being had. I didn't want to be a part of certain conversations, so I just moved them along. And sometimes it was like, people were just being chatty and we all had work to do, but it helped to kind of move people along in that way. So that's an example of using my clearing and energetics to create a space for myself without interfering with other people's spaces. I think that is about it. I think I've given you some great ways of clearing space, of, clearing your own self. But I'm curious if you have another way that you like to do clearings. Is there something that you like to use to do your clearings? Maybe there's a specific crystal you like to use. Maybe there's an essential oil that you love. Or maybe you just have a whole nother method. Now, I also want to say, I said at the beginning that ritual and ceremony aren't necessary, but they're really nice to do. I often will do kind of house blessings or office blessings and create a ceremony in that to bless a space and to create that energetic space that somebody wants. Again, it's a choice to create that. It's a choice to do that ceremony in that space to create a certain vibration, to really honor the space in a certain way. But it's not necessary to do that each and every day. We can do little things to create that energetic shift without having to do the big piece of it. Some people have like a morning ritual that they would do, and maybe that's part of their ritual as well as doing that cleansing and clearing. I remembered there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about. So we talked about kind of like spaces and in offices and, homes and that sort of thing. But we can also talk about in our car. That's a place that often needs clearing. If you work someplace that's really heavy, if you work in a helping field, we often will take that energy with us when we leave, and it might get stuck in our vehicles. So again, you may choose to clear your vehicle or clear yourself before stepping into the vehicle. One of the things that I would say to my friend that worked at the jail is before you get in your car, do a little stomp and dust your hands to kind of get rid of the energy of the jail before you got in your vehicle so that you weren't taking it home with them. Often in cars, angels are a great way. Sometimes people have angel medallions. Saints to protect their vehicle, protect them as they travel. Again, you can have crystals in the vehicle. Maybe you have essential oil that you diffuse. And of course, it's a car. Roll down your windows and let it blow through and just clean and clear it all out. So I just wanted to throw that one in there, that vehicle, especially if you carpool or anything like that, that can also create an energetic space. So you wanting to clear that space is important as well. So again, I'm really curious. Let me know if you have any great ways that you like to do cleansing and clearing of yourself or your space. I'd love to hear what you do. Thank you for joining me today to talk about cleaning and clearing ourselves and our space. I hope you feel a little bit lighter, and I hope you have some new tools that you can use to help clear your energy and your space, especially when you feel heavy and needing to release it all. Thank you for being here, for being part of my spiritual journey and allowing me to be your spiritual tour guide. I will see you again in 2 weeks.